Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. Sunil here. Welcome to the session. Can you hear me? If yes, please type yes in the chat box as a confirmation. If you can hear me, please type yes in the chat box as a confirmation. Thank you very much. Perfect. Thank you very much for your curiosity and interest in joining at early morning 6 o'clock in India. Thank you very much. Let us stop the chat. What's our plan for today? As you can see, we will be spending most of the entire session in understanding the Linux commands. Okay. So we learn how can we create a file, remove a file. We already have learned it. We learn with the directories. How can we navigate between the directories? How can we move from one directory to other directory? Very important. rm-r command, very important. Listing of the files, listing of directories. What do you mean by what happens in Linux when a file name starts with dot? Important. How to see hidden files, how to create a hidden directory. Combination of listing options, which is frequently used in Linux. How can we copy a file? Pipe command, which is frequently used. So these are all our plan for today's session. As usual, before moving on to today's session, any questions? Any questions on the concepts what we have discussed in the previous session? Please raise your hand. Or if you want to have any interaction, please raise your hand. Good morning, Raghu.
Hey, hi, good morning. This is Srinidhi. Actually, my husband name is Raghu.
Yeah.
Sorry. So actually, yesterday I have created this Linux. For the Ubuntu, right? Instead of I have created two machines, Ubuntu and AWS. But for
Ubuntu
the
and
first one is like Amazon Web Services, is there, right? In that also there was a one free trial. Uh, um, Free was there, so I have
okay,
selected.
you have created one more operating system with, other than Ubuntu, probably Amazon Linux, I think so.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
For that, I was unable to get connected to the put.
Yes, there's
Yeah.
a small change. You will understand it soon. Okay.
Oh,
Are you able to connect to Ubuntu?
yes, yeah,
Okay.
I have that one, but for that
Okay.
eight, yeah,
Okay. I'll update you. Okay.
sure.
You're
Thank
from
you.
which location?
I'm from America and I live in
Your
Atlanta.
experience?
I'm into Salesforce developer, like past from 5 years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Any specific reason Salesforce you're planning to change from Salesforce domain?
No, it's not like that. I was interested into learning like new technologies and
Good.
yeah,
It's always good to explore new technologies. Yeah. Thank you, Raghu. Thank you. Yeah, bye.
yeah.
So, okay. So to work out all this, we need a Linux environment. I hope you remember we have created a Linux machine on AWS Cloud. So let's log in and let's start that particular machine. We are not creating a new machine. We'll be using the machine what we have created in the previous session. Always sign in using email. Under services, if you want to deal with these instances, you need to select a service called as EC2. Instances. This is the instance which we have created, and right now the instance is stopped. Let us start the instance. The first state will be into pending state. After within a minute, the machine will be in running state. Once the machine is ready, so in the AWS cloud platform, so we have created a Linux machine. That's good. How can we connect? Let's say from our personal laptop or desktop. How can we connect to that Linux machine? For that connectivity purpose, we need a terminal. We need a terminal. I hope you remember we have used a terminal called putty. So you need to use the putty. So I will be opening the putty. I have downloaded putty. So in my downloads folder, I have the file putty.exe. I'm opening this putty session. And then under host name, you need to mention the connection string, that is user and DNS. As you can see, the machine is in running now. Select the machine and click on connect. It will provide you the connection string user at DNS. Perfect. Putty needs a key pair. I hope you remember we have downloaded a key pair. Where did we download the key pair? I think we have downloaded in D drive 6 a.m. batch. So this is the key pair. Key pair is nothing but file with extension .ppk. So in this particular location, the key pair is available. So you have to upload the key pair under connection, under SSH, authentication, credentials, browse the key pair and just upload the key pair and click on OK. Are you sure you want to connect? Yes, so we have successfully connected to the Linux machine. So this is how you need to connect to the Linux machine. We already have learned this in the previous session. Let's move on. I want to change settings for better visibility. Perfect. Clear command to clear the screen. ls command, list stands for list, which helps you to see list of all the files and directories which we have created. I hope you remember we have created a couple of files and we have created one directory. How many ways we can create a file? Participants, how many ways we can create a file, isn't it? How many ways we can create a file? Could you please respond in the chat box in how many ways we can create a file? You can create a file in two ways. One is the cat command, the other one is cat command, which helps you to create a new file. The other one is the touch command, which helps you to create a new file. So the difference is touch helps you to create an empty file, isn't it? The difference is touch will help you to create an empty file. That's fine. We already have learned how can we create a file. So let's spend some time. How can we read that? I want to see the data in the file F1. I want to read the data. So use cat command. Don't use greater than symbol. Participants, you have to use greater than symbol only when you are creating a new file. I am not creating a new file. I want to see the data present in the file F1. So do not use cat command. Just do not use greater than command. Just use cat F1. You are able to see the data present in the file. You may have a question, Sunil, how can we change the data? I want to change it to, instead of day 2, I want to change it to day 3. Can we edit the data in the file? Yes, you can do it by using the editor. Anyways, I'll be seeing it, I'll be showing it soon. Okay, how to remove a file? So we have an rm command. We have an rm command to remove a file. So rm followed with the file name. Let's say I want to remove the file f3. So the file gets removed. So right now there are only one file and one particular directory. Okay, clear about this? I want to remove the directory also. So I want rm command works for directory also. That's fine. Directory has been. Okay, so directory is having, sorry, rm hyphen r. I will explain this. The difference between rm hyphen r. Let me explain you soon. Okay, so right now I have, let me clear this file f1 also. So right now there are no files, there are no directories, everything is empty. Okay, so let's get started. Let's learn something new in today's session. I want to create a file f1 and with some content. So I'll be doing it by using cat command. Let me complete this. Cat greater than f1. Welcome to 3 DevOps. So this is the 3 lines of content which I want to write it in the file f1. How to come out of the cat command? How to come out of the cat command? Control D is the key, you need to use it. So Control D is the key which I'm using it. So I'm out from the cat command. I'm done with creating a file F1. That's fine. I want to create a directory with the name D1. I want to create a directory with the name D1. Okay. So can I do it? Yes. How can you create a directory? We have a command called mkdir, which helps you to create a directory. So mention the directory name which you want to create. So D1, which helps you to create a new directory. So let me do that. Directory got created. Now you can see we have one directory and one file. Can I create one more directory D2? Yes, why not? Mkdir D2. Second directory got created. Now, currently I have created two directories and one file. Pretty simple. My point is directory is nothing but a folder. In Windows, we call it as folder. In Linux, we call it as directory. So in folder, can I place some files? Can I place files inside the folder? Definitely yes. In the same way, I want to place a file inside the directory D1. So I have a directory D1. Under the directory, I want to create a file with the name, let's say F10. I want to create a file inside the directory. Okay. So currently, I'm not pointing inside the directory. I'm not inside the directory. I'm not inside the directory. So first you need to enter into the directory. First, you need to enter into the directory, and inside the directory, you have to create a file F10. So this is my requirement. Okay. So let's learn how can we do it. Before that, I want to show you a very important command called pwd in Linux. Stands for print working directory. PWD stands for print working directory, which helps you to know the current path in which you are working. Currently, you're working with Linux, no doubt. You want to know the current path. Like in Windows, we have paths. In the same way, Linux also we have paths. So if you want to know the current path in which you're working, please use the command pwd stands for print working directory, which helps you to know the current path in which you're working. You can see here very clearly that currently we're pointing to /home/12. This is our current path. Print working directory. This is a current path or current directory. Currently, we are pointing to /home/12. So this means this file F1, D1, D2, all these are available in slash under /home/12. Clear? I hope I'm very clear. PWD will help you to know the current path in which you're working. Now, I want to create a file F10 where I want to create the file F1 under the directory D1. Okay. So you need to enter into the directory. You need to enter into the directory. How can we enter into the required directory? We have a command called cd, stands for change directory. We have a command called cd, stands for change directory. Change directory will help you to enter into the required directory. I want to enter into the first directory D1. So I want to enter into the first directory D1. So the command is cd, stands for D1, which helps you to enter into the D1. So look at this. I'm running a command called cd, and I want to enter into the directory D1. Right now you're pointing to D1. Okay, so right now you're pointing to D1. So what is the proof? You may have a question, Sunil, what is the proof that you're pointing to D1? You can confirm it by using the command called pwd. You can confirm it by using the command called pwd. Previously, we are pointing to /home/ubuntu. Now we are pointing to /home/ubuntu. Under Ubuntu, you're pointing to D1. Yes, this is right. This is what my path. I want my file to be created under D1. So right now I'm pointing to D1. So inside the D1, I want to create a file F10. So I can do it by using cat command. I can also do it by using touch command. So I want to quickly do it by using touch command. So touch F10. So the file got created. Now you can see ls. LS will not show you D1, D2, and F1. It will only show you the files present in the current working directory under /home/ubuntu under D1. We have only one file F10, so you're able to see only one file. So the most important point you have learned is PWD stands for print working directory, not password. It's a print working directory, which will show you the current path in which you're working in Linux. Like in Windows, you can see this is the current path. D drive 6am is the current path. So I daily sessions, the PPTs I'm saving it in the current path. E drive today DevOps 6am. So this is the location. So So here in Windows, we'll have this bar to know the current path in which you are creating the files. In the same way, in Linux, we have a command called pwd, stands for print working directory, which will help you to know the current path in which you are working. That's fine. Okay, so currently we're pointing to slash home slash Ubuntu. Now, very important point. Very important point. Now, you want to go back to the parent directory. You want to go back to parent directory. What do you mean by parent directory? Participants, please observe here. For the directory D1, the parent is immediate parent directory is Ubuntu. For the Ubuntu, the immediate parent directory is home. For home is under root is the topmost hierarchy, so that's a root. So that is the parent directory. So D1 is under Ubuntu. So for the D1, the immediate parent directory is Ubuntu. I want to go back to the Ubuntu directory. Yes, you can do it, no doubt. You can go to its parent directory by using the command called cd double dot. Whenever you want to go to the immediate parent directory, just happily simple command called cd double dot, which helps you to know the, which helps you to move to one directory up. You will go to the parent directory. So let's do that. So cd double dot. I'm back to, now I'm pointing to Ubuntu. How can we confirm? I want to check whether I am now pointing to Ubuntu or not. You can do it by using pwd. So you are now in slash home slash Ubuntu, and ls you can see two directories, D1 directory and D2 directory as well as F1. So what did we learn now? So the point what you have learned now is how can you navigate, isn't it? So how can you create a directory, how to enter into the correct directory, and how to know the current path in which you're working is very, very important. Next point. We have a command mkdir, which we have just now executed. We have a command mkdir, which we have just now executed, make directory, which helps you to create a new directory, which we have created. You have created directory D1 and D2, whatever it is. How can we remove directory? In the previous session, we have used rmdir, which helps you to remove directory and mention the directory name, whichever you want to remove. So this helps you to remove the directory. So let's try to remove the directory D2. Let's try to remove the directory D2. So I want to remove the second directory. I want to remove the second directory D2. So let's try to do that. rmdir, mention the directory name which you want to remove D2. So which helps you to remove the directory. Let's do that. rmdir and mention the directory which you want to remove D2. D2 is removed. ls, now D2 is no more available. So this is how to remove directory. Similarly, can I also remove D1? Why not? If we are able to successfully remove D1, D2, we can able to remove D2 also. Let's try rmdir followed with D1, which helps you to remove the directory. Let's do that. rmdir, mention the directory name D1. Interestingly, this command fails. The command is successfully removing the directory D2, but this command failed to remove D1, and it is also giving you a meaningful message: directory is not empty. It is giving a message directory is not empty. You are right, directory is not empty because under the directory we have a file F10. So directory is not empty. So this means rmdir will work only when the directory is empty. It will work, no doubt, only when the directory is empty. If the directory is not empty, if the directory is having some files, if the directory is having few more directories, in such case, this command will fail. In such case, happily use the command rm-r and mention the directory name which you want to remove. So this is the best option, irrespective whether the file, when the directory is empty or not. Please use rm-r. R stands for recursive. So first first files will be removed in the directory, and finally the directory will be removed. So I want to try this particular command. rm-r stands for recursive, and now mention the directory name D1. So first the file will be deleted, and then finally the directory will be deleted. Rm R, yes, I have successfully deleted. Now I am able to remove the directories. Clear about this? So this is one small point which I want to tell you. How can we create a directory? How can we delete a directory? We have learned when should we use rm-r. How can we go to previous directory? We can go to previous directory. We can go to previous directory by using cd double dot, which is to create a previous directory. Now, I want to create 4 directories in this fashion. I want to create 4 directories. Let me explain you clearly. I want to create a directory D1. Okay. Under D1, inside D1, I want to create D2. Inside D2, I want to create D3. And inside D3, I want to create D4. This is the nested directories. This is how I want to create. This is the directory structure I want to create. D1 under D1, D2 under D2, D3 under D4. So this helps us, this example helps you to quickly navigate between the directories. So let me do that. Let me quickly do that. I hope you can easily prompt me to do that. So please, let's proceed. Starting with first directory, D1, mkdir, D1. Successfully D1 got created. Now don't write mkdir D2. D2 should be inside the D1. D2 should be created under D1. So you need to change to D1. Okay. Currently, are you pointing to D1? Currently, we're not pointing to D1. We are pointing to /home /Ubuntu. Under Ubuntu, we have D1. You need to enter into the direct D1. CD stands for change directory D1. Now you're pointing to participants. Now you're pointing to D1. Under the D1, I want to create a directory mkda at D2. Perfect. So we have created D2 and you have to enter into the D2 CD D2. So now you're pointing to D2. Under D2 mkdir D3, enter into the third directory and enter into the third directory. Now create a fourth directory mkdir D4. So I'm creating a fourth directory. I'll enter into the fourth directory. Perfect. So like this, you should be very comfortably creating files. And I want to know the current location. Currently, I'm pointing to. If you want to know the current location, pwd, isn't it? So that's what we need to do it. And look at this pwd participants under /home /Ubuntu. We have created D1. Under D1, we have created D2. Under D2, we have created D3. And under D3, we have created D4. So this is what we have achieved. So you are in a comfortable position to create files as well as directories, nested directories and files. Yes, Mavis. You are now allowed to unmute.
Yeah, so can you be in D1 and then create D2 to D4?
Yes, there is a recursive option where in which all these 4 directories we can create it in one single command. I'll be showing it soon. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Now, point is now very important point. For D4, the immediate parent is D3. For D3, the parent is D2. For D2, the parent is D1, isn't it? Okay. So for D1, the parent is Ubuntu. For Ubuntu, the parent is home. So we know this is the hierarchical structure of the directories, isn't it? Okay. So this is the hierarchical structure of directories. Now, if you want to go to immediate parent directory, now you want to move to immediate point, you want to point to D3. Now, if you want to point to D3, so we already have learned CD double dot, which helps you to go to one step above, which will help you to go to D3. I want to point to /home /Ubuntu. This is my requirement. I want to directly jump to /home /Ubuntu. This is what I want to point out. So one way you can use CD double dot one time, repeat CD double dot, CD double dot. So 3 or again CD double dot. You have to use 4 times CD double dot. So one by one. Or if you want to point to any specific location, you can do that by writing CD and mention the complete path from the beginning /home /Ubuntu. So like this, you can write the complete path from the beginning, so which will help you to go to the required path, whichever you want. So look at this CD. I want to point to /home /pwd. So directly, I have jumped from D4 to Ubuntu. So that's how participants, you have to be very familiar. You have to be very familiar with the navigating between the files and the creating directories and changing the directories. So knowing the current path in which you're working is very, very simple and frequently used. Okay, perfect. Now, long list, very important. Very important. I want to read the content in the file F1. Okay, so the file F1 is having some 3 lines of content. That's okay. I want to create one more file F2. Some content. Control D to come out of the command. cat command. So I have just now created F2. I want to create one more file, F3, by using touch. That's good. So as of now, in my current location, I have a directory D1. Under D1, I have three. After along with D1, I have F1, F2, and F3. That's fine. Okay. What ls stands for? We are using a command ls. Stands for list. As the name suggests, stands for list. As the name suggests, it is listing us the available files as well as directories in that particular location. That's fine. ls is capable of showing only files and directories, not more than that. Okay, but I want more information, not only just file names and directory names. List command will give us the names of the files. So total we have 3 files and 1 directory, 4 objects, 3 files and 1 directory. That's right. Total 4. It just gives names. I want more information, not only just names. I want to know more information like date and time when the file has been created. I want to know the size of the file. I want to know the permissions of the file. So I want more information about. I don't want. I want more information about the files and directories, not just names. So whenever you want more information, not just names, you want to know more information about these files and directories, then you have to use the command ls-l. L stands for long list. Okay. L stands for long list. You can see here I'm running the command ls-l. The difference is you'll get the same 4 objects, 3 files and 1 directories. You can see here F1, F2, F3, and 1 directory. Total 4 objects. That's the reason you're getting 4 lines, but you're getting more information. Not just names. Along with names, are you able to see the date and time when the file has been created? Are you able to see the date and time when the file has been created? And what is this 64? 64 is the size of the file. Are you able to get the file size? Yes, F1 size is 64 bytes. F2 file size is 34 byte. F3 we have created using touch command. So we have learned touch helps you to create an empty file. So it is clearly showing that it is 0 bytes. This is the owner of the file, and this is the group what the file belongs to. And this is what is owner group. You'll see, you will understand soon. And very important point is that are you able to see these are all permissions? RW, read, write, X. These are all permissions. The point what you have to understand is that ls will give you just names. You want to know the size of the file. You want to know the permissions of the files and directories, and you want to know the date and time. Who is the owner of the file? So you want to get more information. ls will not show you more information, just shows you names. That's all. Along with the names, you want to have additional information like the date and time, size, and all those options which I just shown you. Please use -l. Okay, so we'll give you long list information. So that is very important. So sometimes you want to see more information about the files. Please use -l, stands for long list, which helps you to get more information. Not only names, you get many other information as you can see here. Next. What if file name starts with dot? What happens when a file name starts with dot? Let's create it and let's experience it. Okay, I want to create a file. Dot F4. I want to create a file with the name .f4. Yes, you can do it. You can create it by using the cat command. You can also create it by using the touch command. Anything is fine. I want to go ahead and create using touch command. Touch .f4. So what happens when a file name starts with dot? Yes, successfully created. So we are done. I have executed the command. Now ls should show us F1, F2, F3, D1, as well as I'm expecting the new file which I have just now created .f4. But interestingly, are you able to see the file which you have just now created? Interestingly, we are not able to see the file which we have just now created. Okay. The reason is, in Linux, when a file name starts with dot, this means it is a hidden file. When a file name starts with dot, it is a hidden file. As it is a hidden file, you are not able to see that file. Similarly, can we create a directory with the name dot, starting with dot? Let's say I want to create a directory. I want to create a directory, something like dot d5. Can I do it? Mkdir is the command. Dot d5 is the directory which I want to create. So let me do that. Mkdir dot d5. So no doubt the directory gets created, but as the same experience you have successfully created, but you are not able to see the directory which we have just now created, because you have understood, even if the directory name starts with dot, it is a hidden directory. So in Linux, when a file name starts with dot, it's a hidden file. And when a directory name starts with dot, it's a hidden directory. Clear? So this is how the hidden files and hidden directories, what we can create. Sometimes when you install some applications, okay, so there'll be some hidden files and hidden directories which will be created inside that particular applications. Okay, so this is just for your information. Now, point is, I want to see the hidden files. Right now, we have one hidden file and one hidden directory. Okay, we are unable to retrieve it because the normal list command, it is not capable of showing you hidden files. It will show you normal files and normal directories. You want to look at the hidden files and hidden directories also. You have to use ls-a. A stands for all. All means all the files. Hidden files also will be displayed. So let's experience it. ls-a. Interestingly, can you see the hidden directory which we have just now created .d5? Yes. Can you see hidden file which we have created? What is hidden file which we have created? I think so. .f4. Yes. Along with that, there's some other files. .ssh. Some hidden informations are there. That's for our surprise. But you are in a position to retrieve it now. So you have used. So now ls will show you normal files. It is not capable of showing hidden files. ls-a option is used to show hidden files. Clear? So this is about the information about hidden files and hidden directories. So total 3 listing options we have learned. A normal list will just give you names. That's all. ls-l will give you names, date and time when the file has been created, what is the size of the file, what is the owner of the file, what is the permissions of the file. You will get by using long list. ls-a, A stands for all. It just gives you names of all the files, hidden files also. Now you can use the combination options. ls-la, ls-l, this part will give you the date and time, size of all of the normal files. As you have used the combination of A, it will also show you the date and time when the hidden files has been created. It also includes the hidden files also, interestingly. So ls-la, oh my God. So it is, as we have used long list along with A option, all the files. So you get the long listing of all the files. You can see the date and time when the hidden files and hidden directories has been created. Clear about this? My dear friends, are you enjoying the session? Please respond in the chat box. Am I clear in explaining you how to see list of all the files? How can we create hidden files? How can we have long listing options? So I hope I'm very clear in explaining you how can we should be comfortable in these concepts. We should be aware of all this because these are all frequently used when you're dealing with the DevOps tools on Linux environments. Thank you very much. Okay, so now, thank you very much. So this is about listing options. Fine. Next. How to see hidden files, how to create a hidden directory, combination of listing options, which we are just now. How can we copy a file? We have a file F1. This file F1 is having some 3 lines of content. That's fine. 3 lines of content. That's fine. So we have a file F1. I want to copy the content of F1 into a file something like F9. I want to copy the contents of this particular F1 file into a file called F9. Do we have F9? We don't have it. We don't have F9. So you can copy the contents into a new file. So that is by using the command called CP, stands for copy. CP stands for copy. You have to mention the source file and destination file. So in our case, the source file is F1, the destination file is F9. Okay, so mention source and destination. So F9 is not available. That's not a problem. The destination file will be created. F9 will be created, and whatever the contents are there in F1, that will be copied into F9. So let's quickly do it. CP stands for copy, source F1, and destination is F9. I'm done. So copying is done. Now you can see ls F9 has been created. If you want to read the content in F9, cat F9 will help you to read the content. Are you getting the same content? Whatever we have in the source file F1, are you able to get the same content? Yes. So this is how you can copy the files by using a very simple command called copy. Next, pipe command. Okay. So before moving on to pipe, few points I want to discuss. Okay. We have a command called WC, stands for word count. We have a command called WC, word count. Okay. So what this word count, as the name suggests, word count command will count to the number of words in the file. Will count the number of words in the file. Let's check F1. F1 is having some set of words, isn't it? Welcome is word. 2 is one word. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 to 13 words we are having. Okay, if you want to count the number of words, we have a command called WC, and I want to count the number of words. I should mention the file name in which you want to know the number of words. Interestingly, WC stands for word count, and mention to which file you want to count the number of words. I want to count the number of words in F1. Okay, interestingly, we have 3, 12, 64 for the file F1. So we are having three values. Let's try to understand 3. 3 refers to, you can easily guess. Word count will also count number of lines. So this particular file is having 3 lines of content. So the first value refers to the lines. Second value refers to the words, number 12 words, and third value refers to characters, 64 characters. So word count not only counts the number of words, it will count the number of lines as well as number of characters. So we have 3 lines. The file F1 is having 3 lines of content, 12 words in that particular file, and 64 characters. So that's about word count. Now we have word count comes with 3 options: word count hyphen L, word count hyphen W, and word count hyphen C. Okay, L stands for lines, W stands for words, and C stands for characters. Let's say you don't want all the 3 values, you want only lines, you want only words, or you want only characters, then you have to use option word count hyphen L stands for lines. In the file, mention the file you want to apply. I want to apply it on F1. It's now showing you only 3. So when you don't want all the 3, you want only lines, then use hyphen L option, or you have to use only words, hyphen W, we have 12 words. If you want to get only characters of a particular file, 64. So we have 3 options. Okay. Next, we have a date in Linux. We have a command date which will print the current date as per Linux operating system. So this is the current date as per Linux operating system. Okay. Yes. Now pipe command. I want to discuss about pipe. Pipe is used to run 2 or more than 2 commands, to combine 2 or more than 2 commands. Okay. Example, date pipe WC hyphen L. Try to understand. This is what I want to discuss about pipe. So pipe is represented with this character. Okay. Which is just above the enter key. So this is the pipe command, the symbol of pipe. It helps you to run 2 commands, 2 or more than 2 commands. For example, here you can see here we have 2, but date is an independent command. Isn't it? Date is a different command. Word count hyphen L is an independent command. I'm running both the commands, date, pipe, word count -l. How this works? Okay. So whenever you want to run multiple commands, so you have to go for using pipe. So try to understand how it works. First command, what are you mentioning here? The first is date. So this part gets executed. Okay. This part gets executed. Always the execution starts from the first command. So date will be executed. This is how the result of the date command will be in the memory. It will be in the temporary RAM. And then, so this is the result. Visualize this is the result. And now the word count -l will act on the result of the first command. Will act on the result of the first command. So word count -l will show you will return the number of lines on the output of the first command. This is the output of the first command. How many lines we are having? The data is giving us only one line, isn't it? So the result will be one date pipe word count -l. So date gets executed and word count -l will give you number of lines on the result of the date command. So you're getting only one. Got it? Okay. So that's the purpose of the pipe command. So pipe helps you to run multiple commands. Pipe helps you to run multiple commands. So when you want the first command to be executed and second command you want to execute on the result of the first command. So in such case, you have to go for pipe. Okay. I hope I'm very clear in explaining you how to use pipe. Let's discuss a few more examples. Okay. Let's discuss about a few more examples. Few more commands. I want to create a file. The name of the file is f91. This is the name of the file. File name can be anything. I want this file to have 10 lines of content. Let's first create this file with 10 lines of content. Cat. Whenever you want to create a new file, please use greater than, mention the file name which you want to create. I want to create a file with the name f91. That's okay. The file gets created, my control will enter into that particular file. So I want this file to be of 10 lines. The content of the file should be 10 lines. So let's say line 1. Control D to come out of the cat. Done. I have created a new file, as you can see, f91. We have created a file f91. If you want to read the data, cat f91. So it's a 10 lines of content. Okay, good. Now, I want to display only first 5 lines in a file. I want to display top 5 lines present in that particular file. Okay, so if your file may have 10 lines, your file may have 100 lines, a file may have 1,000 lines, that's okay. I want first n number of lines. In my case, I want to display first 5 lines. Whenever you want to display first 5 lines, we have a command called head. Head will give you the first n number of lines. Mention the number of lines. Okay, I want to -5 refers to the number of lines you want to display from the file. Mention the file f91. I hope I'm very clear. Head will give you the top specific lines. You have to mention the number of lines you want to display from the file f91. So let's do that. Head -5 means 5 lines from the file, top 5 lines from the file f91. Are you able to do it? Yes, perfect. So if you don't want to display the entire content, you want to display first few lines, so we have a head command. Similarly, I want the bottom 3 lines, bottom 4 lines, bottom n number of lines. So if you have a head command, definitely you can easily guess. Definitely we can easily guess. We have a tail command, will get you the bottom n number of lines. So my requirement is to bottom 3 lines, tail, bottom 3 lines from the file f91. Will it work? Let's try. Tail, bottom 3 lines from the file F91. Interestingly, are you able to get the bottom 3 lines? Yes. So in line X, not only the entire content, if you want beginning few lines or ending bottom 3 lines or n number of lines, you can do it by using the head and tail. Okay. Obviously, the next question, I hope you will definitely, it is in your mind. Okay. Okay. You may have a question. Obviously, next question that comes to your mind. Sunil, I want to look at line number somewhere in between. Okay. Something like I want to display line number 5, fifth line. I want some specific line in between. Head will give you the top 5 lines, top n number of lines. Bottom will give you bottom lines. I want fifth line. So I want a specific line number. Can we do it? Yes. So all this will help you. So all this will help you to understand how can we frame the Linux commands. All these examples. Look at this. How I want to display fifth line from the file. This is the requirement. I want to display fifth line from the file catf from the file F91. Can we do it? Yes, we can. Okay, look at this. If you want to get fifth line, head -5 from the file F91. What this will do? This will not give you fifth line. This will give you first 5 lines. -5 from the file F91. Yes, this is giving you first 5 lines. You are right. But we want to get only the fifth line. So head -5 from the file F91. We already have executed this. This is the result. On this result, I want to run one more command. So I use pipe tail -1. Tail will give you bottom lines. Tail, when we used -3, it will give you bottom 3 lines. If you want -1, it will give you bottom 1 line. Yes. Okay. So now here what happens? Pipe is used to run multiple commands. I'm running head command and then tail command. So first what will be executed? This part will be executed. Okay. So first 5 lines from the file. This is how this will be in the RAM. And then the tail command will run on the output of the first command. That means this is the output. You can visualize this is the output. So tail command will give you the bottom. 1 means the last line. So that is nothing but line 5, isn't it? So let's do that. Head -5 from the file F1. Use pipe tail -1. If you want not just fifth line, you want fourth line as well as fifth line. Yes, you can do it. Tail -2. So you get both the line number 4 and 5. So in line X, we have only head command to get top n number of lines, and we have tail command to get the bottom n number of lines. Okay, so you want somewhere in between, so you have to use a combination. This is a combination of piping. So that's how we have to improve logical thinking to frame the Linux commands to get the required outputs. Okay, so that's how the pipe command works. So pipe command is used to run multiple commands. Okay, perfect. Now, so that's about piping. Now, next one more point I want to discuss. Okay, one more point I want to discuss. PWD, print working directory, will show you the current path. Okay, no doubt. Okay, we are connected to Linux. We are connected to Linux, no doubt. I want to know the current user using which I have connected to Linux. You are connected to an operating system, Linux. You are working with Linux. Okay, so I want to know the current user using which you are working with Linux. Okay, so whenever you want to know the current user in which you're working, we have a command called who am I It's a very interesting, beautiful command which will happily show you the current user using which you are connected. So we have a command called who am I. Okay, so currently you are working with Ubuntu user. This is a username. Ubuntu is an operating system which comes with the default user, Ubuntu user. Okay, so Ubuntu is an operating system and Ubuntu is also the username. Okay, so who am I is a command which helps you to know the current user using which you're working. Okay, okay. Obviously, next question that comes to mind. Sunil, can we create new user? Okay, like Ubuntu is a user, can we create our own name? Yes, you can create new users. Okay, so that's not a problem. We'll see how exactly we can work out with users. Next, so one more command, who am I, to know the current user. Now, ls normal listing will not give you more information. Ls hyphen well will give you more information like date and time, size, and on home and Ubuntu. And what are these? Very important. RW hyphen hyphens and RW, we have X here. So what are all these? These are all permissions. We have to be very clear in understanding the permissions of a particular file or a directory. We have to be very clear in understanding the permissions. And we have to be very clear in changing the permissions. Changing the permissions is also very, very frequently used job as a DevOps engineer. So understanding the permissions and changing the permissions are key for especially for everybody. Okay, so especially for DevOps, we'll be doing it regularly. So before moving on, so coming to permissions, a file or a directory can have three types of permissions. Okay, so when I say a file, it also applies to directory. When I say that a file can have three types of permissions, that means it applies to directory also. Directory will also have three types of permissions. A file or a directory can have three types of permissions: read permission, write permission, execute permission. A file or a directory can have three types of permissions: read, write, execute. So read is represented with letter R, write is represented with letter W, and execute is represented with letter X. Okay. Okay, here you can see here RW stands for read, write. You can see here X. So these are all permissions. A file or a directory can have three types of permissions. Okay, perfect. Now, next point. Now, I have a question to you. What is F1? I have a question to you. What is F1? Okay, so you may say, Sunil, this is a very silly question. So F1 is a file, no doubt. Yes, you are right. F1 is a file. I have one more question. What is D1? Again, you may think that's a silly question. Yes, it is a silly question. D1 is a directory. Now, my primary question is, how are you identifying that F1 is a file or D1 is a directory? How are you identifying? Because we have created just now, you remember D1 when you're practicing, just now we have created it. So you remember D1 is a directory and F1 is all files. Let's say when you're working with some operating system, there will be some set of files and some set of directories. But how do you identify which one is a file or which one is a directory? So one observation, we all know that directories are shown in blue color, isn't it? So color is one way of identification. The files are shown in black and white and the directory shown in D1. Okay, that's one way of identification. If a terminal is not supporting colors, okay, if a terminal is not supporting colors, everything is shown in black and white. Everything is shown in black and white. So how do you identify which one is a file and which one is a directory? Okay, so the best way, use ls-l. Sorry, ls-l. The best way, use ls-l. In this result of ls-l, the first character is used to identify whether a particular value is a file or a directory. If a value is a file, the first character will be hyphen. If the first character is D, that means it represents a directory. This is a directory. So there is an importance for the first. The first character is not related to permissions. Read, write. No, it's the first character importance is different. The importance of the first character is used to, okay. The importance of the first character is used to identify whether it's a file or a directory. The first character is D, if the first character is D, that means it represents a directory. If the first character is hyphen, that means it's a Right. So first character is used to identify whether a value is a file or a directory. The rest of the remaining 9 characters are used to understand the permissions of a file or a directory. So we have 3 permissions as we have just discussed: read, write, execute. In detailed discussion about permissions, read, write, execute. Okay, and how can we change the permission? There are 3 types of users: owner, group, and others. More detailed discussion about permissions. Stay tuned for tomorrow session. Stay tuned for tomorrow session. We have a meaningful 1 hour session. 1 hour session. Please respond happy if you are happy with the session. So we had a meaningful discussion. We have good enough understanding about basics. All these are basics. No, so you have to be strong in basics. If you're strong in basics, you can learn more by yourself. Okay. So we have spent quality 1 hour of time to understand more. We have got changing the directories, listing of pipe command, listing options, hidden files. Very interesting. So tomorrow will be much more interesting, little more in-depth concepts, understanding the file permissions and changing the permissions. And the changing the permissions can be done in 2 ways: by using numerical notation and alphabetical notation. I'll be explaining you both the ways. Very interesting. Okay, so stay tuned for tomorrow session. Thank you very much. You have enjoyed the session. I hope you have all of you have enjoyed the session. See you tomorrow, same time, where we'll discuss about the key concepts for tomorrow's session is understanding the permissions and file them changing the permissions. Very important keyword called sudo keyword. We'll be learning about how can we use sudo keyword. We have one more command called su, stands for switch user. Little more technical, more in-depth details of a Linux for tomorrow's session. Tomorrow is also a demo. Tomorrow is also the continuation of today's session. It's also a demo session. So the same link what you have joined today will also work for tomorrow. I have some participants mailing that they are not part of WhatsApp community. So we already, I hope you all are, I hope you know it. We already have created one WhatsApp community. This is batch number 358. I'm sending the community in the chat box, community link. Just now I have posted in the chat box, please. If you're not there, please join the community using the link. If you have decided to make the payment and enroll for this particular course, you can go to the site logiclabstech.com, go to upcoming batches. This is the batch which we have created 6 a.m. as per Indian Standard Time. And here we have an option called payment link. Go to this site. So this is the payment link. Okay. And then you can buy course. The course fees is 7080. You can check out and log in using Google. Log in using Google email, and then you can make the payment using QR code or internet banking. International participants should make the payment using credit card. Okay. So that's all for today's session. Signing off. See you tomorrow for much more in detail session about working with Linux. Have a good time. Thank you very much.